Alright everyone, welcome back. Before we jump into the main topic, let's quickly talk about what happened in the Honkai Star Rail leak scene last week. To be honest, things have been pretty chaotic lately. Ever since some of the more reliable leakers stopped posting regularly, we have been seeing a lot of more questionable rumors floating around, especially on X or Twitter. Random leaks about new mechanics and characters keep popping up without any real sources behind them. But on Saturday, we finally got one piece of information that actually looks credible. And once again, it's about Silverwolf SP and her possible team setup. So let's break it down. Alright, now let's talk about what's been happening last week. To be completely honest, the leak scene for Honkai Star Rail has been pretty messy lately. Ever since Mortis and Unknown stopped posting regularly, the number of questionable rumors has increased a lot, especially on X or Twitter. People are just throwing out random leaks without much verification. Sometimes it honestly feels like they're just joking around, but unfortunately a lot of people end up believing those posts. And that's how things get messy really fast. You start seeing posts everywhere claiming things like new mechanics, new characters, major changes, but when you look closer, there's no real source behind them. So most of the rumors last week were honestly not worth talking about. But then on Saturday afternoon, we finally got one piece of information that actually looks credible. And once again, it's about Silverwolf SP. The information comes from Galaxy Leak. Normally, they mostly repost leaks from other sources, but this time, they shared something a bit more specific. According to Galaxy Leak, the preset team used for testing Silverwolf SP is Silverwolf herself, Sparksy, Yaoguang or AMC, and the sustain slot is Huahua. Now, the interesting part is the source they mentioned. Instead of naming someone directly, they simply wrote old friend. Naturally, people immediately started speculating in the comments. A lot of them believe this old friend might be referring to Unknown or Mortis. Personally, I can't confirm that. The writing style does feel somewhat similar to Mortis, but realistically, anyone could imitate that style. So we should not jump to conclusions there. But that's not the only thing mentioned in the post. Galaxy League also said that Silverwolf SP's special energy mechanic, the one that related to Punchline, which Mortis talked about earlier, has now been confirmed to be accurate. According to the same source, that system is unlikely to change before the beta begins. And considering how close we are to the testing phase, that actually sounds pretty believable. Now, some people might be confused by the team preset itself because it does not show a single fixed lineup. Instead, there are several optional slots. Basically, the core structure of the team looks like this: Silverwolf SP, Sparksy, Yaoguang, Huahua, or alternatively, Silverwolf SP, Sparksy, Elation main character, and Huahua or Danhang PT. So the biggest takeaway here is that Yaoguang and EMC seem to fill the same role. Between the two, Yaoguang will probably be slightly stronger overall, but the difference might not be that large. It is possible that Elation MC is capable of buffing the whole team Elation damage, maybe through their ultimate, since Yaoguang basically can just use her skill and that's it. Your team easily get an abundance of Elation boosts. But it's understandable since she is a limited 5-star. But with Elation MC, maybe things need to be more complicated since they are a free unit. I have a theory that their Elation boost will be locked behind their ultimate that has a fairly high energy cost. That's why they recommend using Huahua at this time. And through some mechanic, maybe every time their team members, or maybe themselves, cast Elation skill, they will generate some amount of energy, but this is only my theory though. If this information is accurate, their kits might end up functioning in a somewhat similar way within this team. You can think of Yaoguang as the premium version, while EMC acts as the accessible alternative. And eventually, EMC will likely be replaced by the final Elation character expected later in the patch cycle. If you remember, Mortis previously mentioned that another Elation unit should appear towards the end of the version updates. Now personally, I actually think this is good news, because if Yaoguang can be replaced by EMC, that means players who want to run two Elation teams, for example Evanesia and Silverwolf, have more flexibility. You could run Yaoguang with Evanesia and then place EMC in the Silverwolf team. It's not a perfect solution, but it definitely makes roster management easier. And more importantly, it means player might not need to pull every single character in order to make these teams work. For example, if your goal is to play Silverwolf SP, then your main priority might actually be Sparksy. Yaoguang could potentially be skipped if you want to save resources. Another important detail here is Sparxy's role in the team. Notice how Sparxy does not have an alternative option in the preset lineup. That strongly suggests that Sparxy might be irreplaceable in this composition. The only flexible slot appears to be Yao Guang's position, so I think it is safe to assume that any leaks that mention where silverwolf SP is going to have a special ultimate energy, which is through a punchline accumulation, is valid. Sparxy currently the only character that can give your team a lot of punchlines through her skill. So that's why her role in silverwolf SP is currently irreplaceable. So this can be a hint for you to do a better gacha management for your account, so you will not run out of jades when silverwolf's banner finally comes. Now let's talk about Huohuo, because some people might ask, wait, why Huohuo? After all, silverwolf SP herself does not need energy, since her ultimate works through the punchline mechanic instead of traditional energy generation. And that's true, but the rest of the team still needs energy. Yao Guang needs it for her ultimate, Sparxy needs her ultimate to activate the thrill mechanic, which helps generate additional skill points, and the MC will probably have similar requirements if the kit ends up resembling Yao Guang's. So having Huohuo for faster energy regen becomes extremely valuable. That's why Huohuo is likely the preferred sustain option, while Dan Heng works more as a secondary alternative. Looking further ahead though, this lineup will probably evolve. Eventually we should see new Elation characters and possibly a new sustain unit as well. If you follow the pattern from version 3, a new sustain could appear around version 4.3 maybe, although that's still speculation. If that happens, the characters most likely to be replaced in the team would be EMC or Yao Guang, depending on which one you are currently using. Meanwhile, Huohuo would eventually be replaced by the newer sustain unit. For the Evanesia team, the character most likely to change in the future is EMC, while Yao Guang will probably stay as a core support there. But again, this part is just educated speculation based on previous patch patterns. And I want to emphasize something important here. This information is still a leak, not official confirmation. Even there's a high chance it's accurate, you should not make major gacha decisions based on this alone. Wait until the 4-point beta actually starts, then we will be able to see the real numbers and mechanics. That said, the team preset itself honestly is not that surprising. Anyone who has been following Mortis' previous leaks could probably guess that silverwolf SP team would look something like this. So in a way, this leak mostly served as confirmation of what many people already expected. Still, it's nice to have a clearer picture now. And if this information really did come from Mortis or someone close to that circle, then there's a good chance it's mostly accurate. But we will find out soon enough. Personally, I'm really hoping the beta starts on Monday, but since we did not see any drip marketing on Saturday, I'm starting to feel a little doubtful. Still, we will see. Anyway, that's all for style news today. There was only one major update this time, but hopefully this content still help you understand the situation around silverwolf SP potential teams. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on notification as well so you won't miss out on any of my style content. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye!